So I'm gonna really quick kill everybody and get away, okay?
Job well done, Vaas. Now claim your reward.
This is delightful. I'm gonna have a sip of this. DMT, ayahuasca, whatever the fuck you are, I'm coming for you. Feels good. Every single time.
Look, I'm not gonna tell you how to navigate your own hell/mine, but maybe you should get a bigger gun.
Jason Brody wants me to get a bigger gun, Chastity. Can this guy even be trusted? I mean, he stabbed me. Come on.
No. He stabbed you. No trust there.
Absolutely not. Folks, welcome to our live stream. It's Ubisoft News Plays on this fine Friday. We're playing Vaas Insanity, and we've got a special guest, main scriptwriter on this very game, Nikki Foy. Nikki, welcome to the stream.
Hello, thank you for having me. I'm so hyped to be here.
Oh, we are stoked to have you here to explain a few things, such as the large blood red waterfall, the sharks floating in the sky, and
What is happening here?
the giant skull volcano.
Nice little cozy mind.
So, hope you're ready for that.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Excellent. So, folks, if you don't know what Vaas Insanity... Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Okay, so basically...
What are we looking at?
Basically, we're in the mind of Vaas Montenegro, the villain from Far Cry 3. This is DLC for Far Cry 6. And as for what we're looking at now, well, I think we're just going to observe, and Nikki, maybe you can comment.
I mean, and what you see is what you get. This is, Vaas has this thing about burying people in the sand. There's actually some fun little, if you explore around, there's some fun little commentary on it. You can find like buckets, and underneath there's Jason and some of his victims who make a lot of jokes about it, like power and control and that sort of thing.
Oh, man.
So, you know.
But these are all Vaas.
These are all
Vaas.
Vaas.
Heads in,
Yeah,
pool of
yeah.
blood.
I mean, interpret it how you will.
Oh, my goodness. All right, so you're the main script writer. Now, this is obviously a huge element of this here is like environmental design, but in terms of what we see in terms of these ideas, like how did you kind of all
Watch it. Watch it.
how did y'all hone in on like how weird you wanted this world to be? I guess.
Yeah. I think it was like a process of figuring it out. We knew that we wanted to take like iconic elements and put like a Vaas filter over them, how he sees them and how he remembers them. So once we knew that, it was really just about like how far can we go and what sort of things can we do to express like that it's semi-real but mostly memories. So when it came to, there's like a lot of easy wins, right? Like, oh, you can make the water red, and it's like, obviously I'm not like an art person, I don't know. So I know like the art team, because this is like Shanghai led this game, so Toronto was kind of like collaborating with them. I'm from Toronto. So like, yeah, I think they were really looking for like, oh, what are like some easy wins we can do to make this like feel surreal. And in terms of narrative, yeah, it was like, okay, how can we show narrative moments that still feel like a little different than the main game, because you're in his mind, and finding like deliveries of that could be twisted and pushed a little more. So that's why we have like visions and the voices that you hear in your head and stuff like that.
Yes, we are heading en route to one of these twisted visions. I believe there's a memory that's going to be up this cliff. So we're going to explore our way up there. And folks, we are chatting at twitch.tv/Ubisoft. If you have any questions for Nikki, if you want to know more about this DLC, come on in there and ask them, and we'll be happy to have you there. If you're watching on YouTube, glad to have you there as well.
We don't have a chat on YouTube though, so if you want to ask questions, come on over to Twitch, and I will read them to Nikki for you.
All right, we're going up the cliff. I've unlocked the grapple hook. So this is something that, like, one of the things about this DLC, if you folks missed our previous stream that we streamed on launch, is that it's kind of a roguelite, where if you die, a lot of your progress is just reset. You don't have your weapons anymore. You don't have your ammo. Your temporary powers that you see listed at the bottom here. These powers that I pick up in my power bar. But you can make some permanent progress. You can unlock new skills, more health, new takedown abilities, etc. So I've made some progress here and unlocked the grapple so I can get up this cliff. Let's see what awaits me.
Ooh.
Nikki.
So Nikki, how did this project come together?
Yeah, like basically, the people who are above me wanted to do something to like bring back the villains, because we wanted to make something like cool for fans, and fans love the villains. Now there is a narrative chunk here, so am I being rude by talking over it?
Oh, we can watch and then
Okay,
we can talk
cool.
again. Yeah.
And we're but the names. You slice off the stump,
Got here, buddy.
you choke up the gains.
Vaas, my ward.
See Citra.
First time I ever killed was for my sister.
Mm-hmm.
Pull the trigger, Vaas. Do it. For me. Oh, sad little boy.
This dude's having a bad time.
Yeah, it's not good for him, for old Vaas, huh?
You were never what I needed, what I wanted.
It's not a great sibling relationship.
No. Yeah, like scenes like this, just to say really quick, a lot of these, what was really cool is I would bring a scene to Michael Mando, who's the actor who plays Vaas, and then he would just like take it apart and be like, oh, actually I want to do something more like this with it, I think this would be cool, and then we would go back and forth over like a couple weeks figuring out like what we wanted to do and nail it down. And then when we brought him into the mocap stage, he would just kind of like feel it out, and we changed so much on the floor based on like what he was bringing and how he saw the character and stuff like that, and it was so great. Like that scene's a great example where we really wanted there's like a line in there where he says like the first time I ever killed was for my sister, which is a line in 3. So we wanted to be like, okay, let's dig further into that, like let's show how he feels about that instead of just like the fact that that's true.
Mm-hmm.
How can we show like in that moment his sort of like intense emotional journey about that. And yeah, it was super cool to like together discover that.
Gotta read things that are on bodies.
Of course.
Got it.
Oh, read this and die. Great.
Now I don't want to read it.
Oh my goodness. This is like, there's little like letters Vaas has started to write to Citra.
Yeah.
When you're writing stuff like this, do you have to like you have to like get yourself into kind of the mindset of these characters, but then when it's like, you know, it's quitting time, time to shut down the computer and go like have a dinner or something. Does it take you a minute to like get out of like Citra Vaas mode?
Yeah, like I remember one time I was like writing, I don't remember like what, but I was writing something for the DLCs, and I stopped working and then I kind of, you know, like did my thing. But I think as a writer too, especially, like you really like think about it a lot, and when you're trying to solve a problem, one of the things that I've taught myself to do is like catch yourself thinking. So it's like intention, and it's like, okay, what do I want this scene to do? How do I want this to work? So I was just thinking all night, and then I went to bed and I just had like wicked vivid dreams.
Oh no.
And I woke up at like 3 a.m. being like, okay, I gotta go write, and then I was like, no. No, it's okay. Like you were having a dream. So yeah, like sometimes it carries with you, but luckily I never ever felt like, oh, there's like darkness covering me from these villains, because like I think that all of them kind of have an edge to them that I really like. Like there's something I like relate to about all 3 of them, and so when I could just tap into that, and it didn't feel like I was punishing myself for getting to like a super dark place or anything like that. It was like pretty objective, which I think is like healthy.
It's important, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep
That is
in your
important.
mind when you're going into the
Absolutely.
mind of a madman.
Yeah. And here we really wanted to show him as a kid. Kind of that like innocent moment in Vaas's life is like a really cool thing to imagine. Like this guy wasn't always who he is, you know. He was he was baby once.
We were all baby once.
Yeah.
It's a good reminder.
Yeah.
When did things switch for him? Around what age do you think things kind of switched for old Vaas?
Yeah, I mean, I think we do have like a timeline that we at least like think of. I don't know like something that I love about Vaas in particular is that he's kind of like ethereal in a way. He's really hard to nail down, and like because he's I've said this before, but he's like an unreliable narrator. Like it's really hard to tell what's actually true versus like what he says. And he might think he's saying something true, but it might not be true. So I think for Vaas, like it was I don't know. In my opinion, I didn't create this character, obviously. I'm like kind of on the shoulders of giants in a lot of ways. You know, I think it's a really gradual thing. It's like expectation and failure that kind of grinds you down. So I don't think it was like at one moment he suddenly shifted.
Right.
It's like throughout his life, all these things, you know, a soup.
Hey, Modest Foxy, welcome to the chat. You're just in time for our new objective, which says kill Citra.
We can certainly try.
Okay. You're gonna have to do some killing. These people do not.
Sorry, I also didn't answer your question earlier about how this was created. So I will answer it. Yeah, like a bunch of the Far Cry 6 directors really wanted to create something like for fans. And as far like I've just been told this, I was brought in like after the idea was created. That the idea of like playing as the villain was kind of the main thing. And then they were trying to figure out like, well, how can we like relive moments and show more from like moments, especially because like all three villains have like very different outcomes, and it's like, okay, well, what are these gonna be? Are these gonna be like prequels? Are they gonna be like after the fact? So I think getting to see like being inside the villain's mind really solved all of those problems, and gave us a chance to do something really new and really interesting. So I think once that idea was floated, and I think it was either Ted Timmons or Havari who said it. Like, I think once that idea was floated, they were like, yeah.
Yeah, that's
and
it.
Then,
that's the one.
Yeah,
Gold.
exactly. Yeah.
Gold. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I was super lucky. I got brought in. I had like finished writing Watch Dogs Legion, and then I came on to Far Cry 6, and then they were like, I was super lucky to be handed this. Yeah. And then we just collaborated until it was born.
That sounds cool, and it's also like the whole process collaborative, because you mentioned just then that's sort of the genesis of it, but then also the like right down to when you were doing mocap with Michael Mando, you know, the whole way it's kind of evolving and building.
Oh, 100%. Like I think that's kind of what I love about games, and especially like writing games, is it's like a game like this, or you know, AAA game, I don't really know indies or whatever, like if this is true, but it's not like anyone's anything, it's like everyone's something, because it really is like the ultimate group project. Like everyone is working so hard and like bringing ideas and constantly iterating.
The heck? She's turned into a flying.
Yeah, good luck trying to kill her.
But it also, like, I really like this, and I think this is sort of a little bit of a Far Cry franchise thing, but also you lean into it here. Like, even the writing of the mission objective in the top left corner has some personality sometimes, you know, the fine sister, like, yeah, I'll keep moving forward. Don't want to keep my dear sister waiting. Like, even in the like
super
weapon
fun.
descriptions and stuff like that, there's a lot of like writing that happens in different parts of the game experience that is really fun.
Oh yeah. Actually, if you open your journal, this is something like that I feel is like I'm proud of, but no one notices. So, so all of like there's like this bolded part, not in that one, but in every other one, it's actually like they're all quotes that Vaas has said, except for these ones also. So I just lied to you. But in all of the in the mindfucks and the memories and stuff, and even in these ones, like tried to find a quote from Vaas from Far Cry 3 to put in. So like there's like a lot of just like little
I rule this fucking kingdom. There we go.
Yeah. Just a lot of like little pieces of, you know, little love everywhere. Yeah. And the same with the powers, like giving them names that are like different from main game, that are more Vaas centric, like all that stuff felt really important to us.
What do you believe? Oh, hello. How are we doing?
I believe in strength, duty, purpose. Not settling for weak men.
Ooh.
Ouch.
You want the truth, Vaas? We are not equals. I knew it my whole life. And so did you.
My
getting
individuality,
dogged on
my
this whole
ambition
Yeah.
should not have been a threat to you,
Seriously.
Citra. But you made that a war.
Oh
So
wow,
be
look at
it.
this.
Yeah, this is super cool. I just like Shanghai did such an amazing job with like the vibe, the art, the like level design. It's yeah, it super impresses me every
Citra,
time
you
I
had
look at it.
potential. And you fucked it up.
And just so you know, folks, you may think that I'm just doing this slow walk and slow pan for the live stream, and I am, but I also play games this way. Like, when I'm just walking through places like this, I'm like, ooh, what's that? Oh, these leaves are red.
We're
What are
just
these
taking time to
symbols?
appreciate
Yeah.
what the devs have
Like,
worked on. They
this
put a
is
lot of work into this.
This is authentically how I play these video games. I'm sure
And
this
that's
is not gonna
totally
catch on
fine.
fire at all.
You are weak. Try all you want, but in the end, you will always fail.
Oh, and we got the moon. Yes.
Right?
The black moon.
Our past disgusts me, Vaas.
Okay, she's back. All right. These perception grenades out. Just tell me where
No matter
enemies
how much I
are,
try, it's not enough, is it?
but also where's my flame? Where's my flame proximity charge? Let's set her on fire. Okay. Oh, yep, all right, a lot more. Hello. Hello. Goodbye. Ooh. Now, folks,
Nikki, before the stream, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, just keep in mind that, like,
Yeah.
you know, if I die, I will lose all my weapons and all of my, like, most of my progress, except for the stuff that I've permanently unlocked. So I'm really trying hard.
That's definitely something to keep in mind. That's, yeah.
Normally, I
Lot
might
to
be a
risk
little
there.
more like YOLO in a Far Cry game and have,
Oh, yes.
be a little more loosey goose, but I'm like, we got to keep this going. I'm not getting busted back to the beginning. Not on live stream.
No, we have to keep progressing. But what I was gonna say is, Nikki, before we were live on stream, you were telling us a bit about like what are some of the best like skills to have and like your favorite weapons. Could you talk a little bit more about that again?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like,
Playstyle.
you know, it's definitely playstyle. For me, I'm not good at sneaking around at all in any game under any circumstance. So I really like any, there's like a power that's like, you can't get knocked down by enemies, so if you run up to them and wildly flail your like machete at them, it's fine. I like that one. I really like making builds in this game that are like really centered around one weapon. Like you can get like boosts rifle damage, and like you get like a couple of those. And then you can get like defends against, I don't know, like fire is a really good one to me. I hate being lit on
Yes.
fire. So yeah, there's like, it really does depend. My favorite gadget is like the poison grenades that make them turn on each other, because then I can just kind of like watch the chaos. Yeah, but really like, I think the powers especially like really can make your runs feel super different.
Yeah, I was doing that with a bow build earlier in this run. It was like, bows do more damage, you know, increase movement speed after a silent kill. Like,
Yeah.
and they kind of, you can stack them like that, and then you can, of course, you can also like trade them out. Like, we're talking about all these powers you see at the bottom of the screen, folks. You can trade them out for ones that you find. You can buy new ones in the safe house if there's one you really like. She's trying to get really close to me. I don't think that's a great idea. Maybe you could get really close to this fireball.
Nice.
That's right. Stay away. Toxic relationship. I'm not trying to get involved in this situation.
You're establishing your boundaries, but in a very physical way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all about boundaries. Oh no, she's got a laser on her gun. That means it's gonna hurt me a lot. I gotta go. Alright. Oh, there we go.
Nice.
Got my wish.
So Nikki, did you also work on the other 2 DLCs that are coming?
I did. I was the main writer for all 3.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a big
Yeah.
undertaking. So a lot
It
of credit
was.
to you.
Thank you. Yeah, it was.
And
But,
those
I was super
are
proud of them.
folks, if you're not familiar, the next one coming is Pagan Min, the Far Cry 4 villain. I believe that's called, what's it called?
Control.
Control? Okay.
Yeah.
And then there's one for Joseph Seed, aka the father
Yes.
from Far Cry 5, called
Collapse.
Collapse.
Yes.
That one I'm interested in too, especially not just because like I played a lot of Far Cry 5, but also because Far Cry New Dawn also has like continues the story of the father in a way.
Correct.
So whereas Vaas, there wasn't another real big showcase of Vaas or Pagan Min. The father's had some more time, so you got like twice as much research to do or something.
Yeah, absolutely true. But that's good. Like, the more for like this stuff, like the more there is, the kind of easier it is for me, because I'm coming to it as like I didn't work on like Far Cry 5, 4, 3, obviously maybe, but like the more content there is, and I really am like a fan of those games and those characters. So the more there was, it was great. It was like, oh, there's so much stuff I can explore. There's so much we can like jam in here and like dig deeper on. So more content, the better for me.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of cool because like it's one of those things where when you have kind of like not limitations, but when you have kind of like area charted out, it gives you like almost even more possibilities of where you can go.
Exactly. Yeah, I think there's like kind of this this thing with like creativity where it's like, oh, if you think that a blank page would be better because you can do whatever you want, but I actually find the opposite is true, where it's like, oh, actually the more constraints you have, the more creative you end up being, and then you can like find something really interesting that you wouldn't have found before if there weren't like pre-existing limitations and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We got a nice
cool.
comment in the chat I wanted to read to you from Jakor, who said, these DLCs are an awesome idea. Love these villains, especially Pagan. So it's great to finally dive into them a bit more. Props to Nikki. Thanks.
Thank you. Props to the whole team. It's definitely a group effort. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and folks, if you're curious about playing this yourself, it is part of the Season Pass for Far Cry 6. One of 3 villain-focused DLCs, as we just mentioned. And you can also... I'm gonna wait to walk in here, but to trigger this so I can finish this spiel.
Yeah, good idea.
If you have a friend who owns this content, they can invite you to play co-op with them if you own Far Cry 6. So you don't necessarily have to own this content. If one of your friends who also owns Far Cry 6 does, you can do like a little buddy pass thing and get in there because this is playable in co-op. And then you just have to decide which one of you is Vaas and which one of you is Citra, but that's up to you. I don't know. That's all.
I'm finished with you.
Oh, let's see
Okay,
about that.
we've reached stage 3
Yeah.
of the boss fight against manifestation of Citra in Vaas's mind. Oh no, she turned into a tiger. Oh god.
Yeah, she'll do that. She will do that.
Did I just hear Vaas say pretty cool though? What little flame
Yeah,
crocodile?
yeah, Vaas likes when this happens.
He's like, trying to absolutely destroy me, but it's pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that the flame is not gonna do. Oh no, my tiger Citra. Oh, we gotta get away.
Actually, like, something that's so fun about writing like games like this is a lot of the art will be done like a little bit before. I guess it depends, I don't know. But it's fun to be like, oh, I get to look at something that is like very cool that like an artist brings to me, like to the team, and shows like, oh, this is what I think it's gonna look like. And then I get to be like, oh, how would Vaas like react to that? Like, what would he think about how this is? So it's like so fun every time that there's something like this, like, oh, we like gameplay was like, yeah, she's gonna turn into an animal, and I was like, oh, Vaas has something to say about that. Yeah.
Pretty cool, though.
Yeah.
He would think
And a lot of these like a lot of these lines, like, to try to keep it you know, like if you're playing over and over, there's like a lot of variations on lines like this, so different like ways to say it's cool, or maybe one time he doesn't, he's sick of it or whatever it is.
He's like, okay, not anymore, please. Stop.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, and I'm just imagining you in the studio with Michael Mando, the actor who plays Vaas, being like, okay, now you're not stoked about it. Now you're mad, or like
exactly.
this is the third time you fought her and she's beaten you the first 2 times. How you feeling about it?
Yeah. And oh man, he was so great for that. Like in the booth, like also I tell him like the prompt, like okay, she's gonna turn
What?
into an
That
animal,
tiger's
whatever it
huge. I'm sorry. The tiger
Yeah,
got
no, it was
just get
just-
way
it
bigger.
was
The tiger
important
got
to
way
call
bigger, right?
is. Citra, you know, she's not just gonna be a regular old. But yeah, Michael Mando would really like he would do like just a million takes for us. Like he'd be like, oh okay, like so Vaas, like I just tell him the thing and he would kind of know how Vaas felt about it, and then he would just say like a ton of stuff, and it's like okay great, like all of this is gold.
Boss can't.
Yeah, we actually like normally when you're doing VO you do a bunch of takes and you like pick your favorites, but with him we actually ended up just being like just put it all in the can. We'll just like
We want it all.
Keep it all. We
Yeah.
might want it.
yeah.
Also, why not, right? Because, like, what if you think of something later, and then you're like, oh, we should have gotten to do this, and then you have to book a whole other session, and then just keep going back and doing more. But yeah, might as well keep all of the takes, everything.
Might as well
Tiger
keep them
design
all.
is so cool.
Yeah.
It's got like the branches kind of coming out of the neck. Like, oh, I'm so sorry, but not
Super
sorry that I
cool.
have to. Absolutely.
Kill me.
Well,
Yep, you got it.
she wants it to happen.
Oh, God.
She's evil. She's evil. You guys, she's evil.
She's evil manifestation in my head.
She's really evil.
I had
yeah,
to do
she's
it.
not real. She's evil.
I loved you.
Oh, stop it.
I loved you.
Rude.
Toxic.
They have a very complicated relationship.
Yeah, they do. It is like you've picked the heaviest memory for us to go through, so I'm like, but it is like.
I'm gonna unlock the socket, so now I've got 2 1-ups banked. Yeah, this was a pretty heavy one. It was.
This is a heavy one.
That was pretty
Yeah.
intense.
Alright, we're gonna grab this shard, the silver dragon. So this is the sort of overarching mission: is collect 3 pieces of the silver dragon blade. And so this is one of them. We actually got another one of them on a previous live stream. You can find that
Yes,
on our
indeed.
YouTube channel.
Are being transformed.
Bye bye, old me. Hello, new me.
Objective completed. Very nice.
Nice. Yes.
Oh man, what's he?
sun was particularly glorious today.
Jeez.
Uh-oh.
Look, we found a heavy one. I don't know.
God, listen, that's what we got you here for, Nikki. We needed an escort to
Yeah,
help
there
us
you go.
handle all of this.
Usually when I'm in my house and I ask somebody a question, I expect them to answer me.
I don't know who the fuck you think you
I don't
are.
know either.
This guy is in
I'll play a
trouble.
little game with you, okay?
Oh yeah.
Don't move. Hey, don't you move now. I've done this before, okay? Don't you move. Stay where you are.
Haas, what are you gonna do? Over the shoulder.
I told him not to move.
Oh,
I was gonna
cow.
raise his ear.
Always putting on a
Sure he
show,
was.
aren't you?
Yeah, yeah.
Hang on a minute.
Oh, do you find me beautiful?
Do you think I'm scared of you? You think I'm fucking scared
Do
of you?
it, Vaas.
I'll fucking do it right now.
Oh, let's see.
Stop touching me!
Do it, Vaas.
Stop
Let's
it!
do it. Oh, I dare you to do it. Fucking do it. Yes.
Not a great relationship.
It's not
Not a
healthy.
healthy.
Wow.
Not a good.
He's not holding it together very well.
No.
Can you
I
blame him?
really like the. No, I mean, it's got a bad past. I really like the glitching effect too, like realization.
Made what I need
Brought that in to make it like feel a little more like, what is this? What does this mean? Like, what is real? What's he remembering versus like what's his emotions that are taking over? I thought that was like a really cool addition.
Yeah, and like clearly his own kind of feelings about Citra and their relationship are fractured and are like
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
broken in
Oh,
these different
God, I didn't
ways,
think I was
and
gonna
that's
make
kind
it
of
out of
like
that one.
flipping
I
here
wonder
and
what else
there.
my little charming psyche has cooked up for us.
Our charming psyche has cooked up for us. Okay, so here's a view of this kind of overarching view of the game world. If you had to guess where the other 2 pieces of the dagger were, folks, where would you guess? Would you guess giant stone dagger tower? Would you guess skull in volcano? I like it.
Nice.
But we're gonna actually
Which
go.
one?
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry.
Nikki.
Oh, I was just wondering which one you did. I just forget. I actually watched your stream, but
We did
you do
this one over here by the. It was like
prison.
a lot of fighting Jason Brody.
yeah,
And like hopping around some floating islands.
nice.
And yep, that's our like little home base where we can go and relax and have a relatively stable time in this unstable market. But the next one I want to check out is over here, where the floating sharks are.
Yeah, what's up with
Nice.
these floating sharks? It's a great idea. I like
Find
it.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah.
We're gonna wingsuit right over there. Can we wingsuit? Will we be attacked by a shark while wingsuit?
Possibly. Let's find
Only
out.
one way to find out. Yeah.
Listen, folks, here at Ubisoft News Plays, we get answers.
yeah.
Cue the hard-hitting questions.
So Nikki, the holidays are coming up. Maybe you're going to see family. I don't know, or maybe you have recently since the game came out. Do you show them that scene? Do you show them the
I do
cutscene?
not. I do not. I do not. I don't think that actually, I guess that my dad is playing these games, so that's very
nice.
fun.
Oh,
for me.
really?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So he texts me frequently about like updates, but he doesn't really talk about the story too much. He's like, I got a gun. I'm like, nice.
Nice.
So I don't know. I'll just, I can just be like, it was the actors.
Listen,
Wink. Yeah.
like, do you have a sibling that maybe,
Yeah, well, oh god. I mean, it's so funny actually, like, now it's like weird because it's like, but my brother like loves Far Cry, and him and I have been like playing these together.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, it's really, really fun. He actually got me into Far Cry, so,
wow.
yeah, that's very cool.
No, not the death
Yeah.
Oh, don't die.
Bad crocodile. I'm okay. Got a good health situation. Stay frosty.
Got a nice comment in the chat from Country Killer XXL who said, I want to say, Nikki, bravo. I think you did an amazing job with this game.
Oh, thank you so much. Ah.
Sharks.
I just like watching the sharks in the
It's,
sky.
yeah, it's very cool.
Like, do I need to get a mobile for my house that's just sharks?
Yes.
now?
Yeah.
That would be
I think you do.
Yeah, they look so great.
But Nikki, you mentioned that you also worked on Watch Dogs Legion.
Yes.
Did you also work on Far Cry 6, like the core game at all?
Yes, I did. This sort of ended up taking over, but I was in like all the writing rooms and stuff like that for 6. I wrote a lot of the treasure hunts and things like that.
Oh, the treasure hunts? Those are some,
Yeah.
Those are some cheesy treasure hunts. Now I see.
Yeah, there's
where
some
the,
fun stuff in there for sure. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
and
good
like a lot of the
doctor's
POIs
house.
and stuff. I really like writing
Man, this guy's shit was so
the like
strong.
open world kind of exploration stuff a lot. Like I obviously like writing narrative and characters too, but there's something so fun about like getting to work with an LD and build like a little area that's all like related to the story.
That's awesome.
Chatopolis
long did it take to,
echoing my. Sorry, Chastity, hold on.
Go ahead,
Before we get to that question, Chatopolis echoing my sentiment in the chat. That scene with Vaas was absolutely insane. I loved it. It was more that raw Vaas that I loved. I was so terrified of. That was
Oh,
gripping.
awesome.
It was gripping.
Ah, man. Thank
And
you
then
guys.
Royals. Let's see if this works out. I don't know. They might just be
Trying to
figments
shoot
of
the
my
shark?
imagination. I don't think we're gonna tag the sharks. They're totally
Nothing will happen.
unperturbed.
Although it is very bossy to try to aggro them, so that's good. you're
would.
living in the character. Yeah. Yeah.
He's becoming boss as he plays.
Absolutely.
Now, you mentioned treasure hunts earlier. You did sort of different words for, we got narrative, we got treasure hunts, we've got, these memory shards or memory moments we talked about. The moment we're coming up to here is classified as a mindfuck, which I think
Yes.
is a new one for, like, video game, for me in a video game. I'm gonna go in here and
Maybe.
see what happens in a mind fuck. Oh, the house is upside down. That makes sense.
Sorry, Chastity, did you have a question?
Oh yeah, I was asking how long was the process of working on this in its entirety? How long were you working on this DLC in particular?
It's weird because, like, you know how, like, the pandemic has changed our perception of time, so I'm like, I don't know, like a year, but it's like,
right. What is time?
I think, yeah, exactly. Like, I think definitely over a year. I think it'd be like a year, maybe 2 years, year and a half, something
Nice.
around there. Yeah, it was a while, for sure. It was a while. But yeah, I don't know the exact.
What is going on here? Look at these
Some
mushrooms.
normal mushroom behavior. And maybe, you know what? I guess we'll come back to you, weird mushroom bowls. We're gonna
Wait,
search
can
the
you
house.
interact with one?
It's not giving me the. Oh, yep, it is.
Aha.
Okay. Nice, thank
Then
you.
Empty.
narrative design. That's narrative design. Empty.
Empty.
Okay, but do I like? I want to grab a mushroom and put it in there, but those bowls are currently empty. Let's check them all. Did we
Put
check
the
this
mushroom
one yet?
in the
They're
bowl.
fucking empty.
No, so I just wanted you to see the narrative design.
They're fucking empty, man. I don't know what you want here. I do like that tone of like Vaas's own kind of like, they're empty. Like, what are you doing? You went into the third
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
You can clearly see it's empty because it's also
Yeah.
it's like consistent with what Vaas would, how he would react, but also like it's kind of in the player's mindset too. Like, it's like Vaas is talking to me like, they're fucking empty, dude. What are you doing? Like,
Yeah. Vaas is great for that. Like, here, try opening that door even though it's locked. Like, you can really like break the fourth wall with him in a way that you can't with other characters.
All right, like all the other fucking games.
So like,
Fourth
he'll
wall
like
smash.
tell
meta.
jokes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so like it's super fun for that. Like with Vaas, where like you get to. We ended up doing that like quite a lot actually. It was so fun.
Okay, we're underwater. We're gonna try to avoid sharks. Can I go inside the front door without being underwater? Let's see. No, I cannot.
Yes,
I think you
of
need to
course.
go
silly
underwater.
me.
Of course, silly me. Alright, hopefully sharks can't swim through doors. Not this
Still
one.
locked from the other side.
It's alright, we'll find our way in. These upside down plants. I like this upside down chair. Oh. There's
Don't
this-
drown.
Oh, okay, thank you. I appreciate the
Hey.
support. Oh, nope, we got a window. Okay. I'm gonna take
Nice.
one last breath before going in. I don't know what's gonna be like in there. Let's get inside. Okay.
Carry on. You've nearly got
Yeah. Go for the door. Go for the door.
Okay. Wait, but this was the one. Wasn't this locked from the other side?
Aha! But now you're on the other side.
Oh, okay. Unlock.
Ah.
Does it unlock up here? Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Okay.
Nice.
All right.
There
I
we
was
go.
getting a little stressed there.
Yeah, this level stresses me out also. So I had to tell you. Also, this Earnhardt, this is a sound alike, and I think the actor did such a good job. He sounds just like him, in my opinion.
And to that point, actually, Angel of Darkness, Vaas's voice is the original actor for
Yes.
Vaas. It is Michael Mando. If the actor sounds different, it might be because the original Far Cry 3 came out over a decade ago. I don't know. It was a long time ago, so maybe people's,
Yeah.
voices evolve a little bit. Who knows?
Yeah, and the same actors are Jason Citra also.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
All right, these are fun to read, but it's he's having some. The crazy old bag paints some sigils on my shoulder and tells me to channel the shark, Citra, my mother, and an open cockpit propeller plane. I think he might have branded me while I was crying in the fetal position. And then I did some astral plane fighting against a golden fucking mongoose or something, and came to on his front porch.
Nothing better than stopping the
You'll
action.
you'll
and
notice, folks,
curling
that's
up with
we're
a
all
big
mad here.
chunk of words.
6. There's lots of mad
Yeah, there's some
situations,
madness.
but also golden mongoose. I have definitely found golden mongoose in this.
Yes, you gotta kill those if you see them. I will also say the narrative notes are all written by a very good scriptwriter named Dylan Boyko, who came
Shout
and
out to
helped
Dylan.
me out to write those. Yeah, did a great
Nice
job.
work, Dylan.
Very good job, Dylan.
Just gonna pick up
Nice.
these Tylenols.
the little devils.
There was an upstairs in this house, if I recall.
Yeah.
It's interesting how.
You're
Oh,
close.
there we go. We got it. All right.
Could you be
so
more
there's
specific?
a
Do I have to do
window
something underwater?
there.
The window looks open.
Yeah. So, but the window, that means the window's going to be open underwater on that side, right? So, you know what, let's just.
Fucking finally.
Okay. Wait. Which side was that window on? It was on the east side. All right. East side. East side.
Do it.
Nice.
Okay, and there's. Oh, yeah. There we go. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
This is a pretty low stress execution of this puzzle. For me, there's a lot more like, ah!
Like literally the moment you made that sound effect, a shark attacked me. So.
I won't do it in the future.
No, it's good.
Tempting
I like
fate.
it. Oh, okay, all right. We got more ibuprofens.
There we go.
around.
Yeah.
There's
Painkillers.
something special.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Oh,
A
sure.
question from the chat here. For you, Nikki, Chadopolis said, how do you get into the characters' heads?
It's a great question. Mostly I just like played a lot of Far Cry, and I would watch like the cinematics or any scene with Vaas in them an insane amount. Like those videos have like millions of views, and like hundreds of thousands of them are me, I'm sure. I really like when I'm writing a pre-existing character, it's in a way like a little easier because I try to literally hear their voice in my head. So I try to like get into their vibe as much as I can, and then when I see a scene or a prompt, or in this case, like, you know, I might see the level, and then I'd be like, okay, what are the things that Vaas would comment on here? I try to like hear those scenes kind of in my mind as I'm writing him. And when it's like a bigger, that's just like voice, but when it's like a bigger character beat, I try to zoom out and really like look at the character from a perspective of, you know, like what does he want? What does he need? What happened to him? Why is he like this? And how does that like influence the choices he makes or has made? And you get to, in this case, you know, you get to kind of do the work backwards of like, there is stuff Vaas tells us about himself in Far Cry 3. Is it real? Nah, you know, like he's
Right.
he just kind of talks and he philosophizes a lot. So yeah, I think it really is a combination of like hearing the voice and really understanding, or trying at least to understand like what the character is after and why. With Vaas it's hard because the why is very like, how's he feeling, you know?
Right.
A little easier with people like Pagan and Joseph when their motivations are a little more explicit, I think.
Yeah,
That's
Vaas's
true.
motivation can definitely be a little slippery, which is one of the things that's so
Yeah.
great about his character too, but
Yeah,
it's like a
yeah.
double-edged sword, right?
Yeah, I mean, again, like, I know I'm a broken record about this, but I really feel lucky that, like, Michael Mando knows this character so well, because he could really fill in anything, like,
Earned hearts.
that I wasn't
Crazy old
hitting
bag.
100%. He could really come in and, like, say, this is why Vaas did that, I think. And, you know, he was so instrumental in the creation of this character, it was, like, a no-brainer to, you know, listen to what he was saying.
Okay, I've got 2 out of 3 drug bowls filled.
There you
And
go.
I'm going for one more. I was looking to see if there was like an attic entrance, but those windows all appear to be boarded up. So I think I might head back underwater and see. Actually, let's just case the joint. Oh, there we go.
Ooh.
So we got one in
One
this
more.
room. And then we opened some doors. I don't know if we.
I
read
always
this.
find, even when we were reviewing this level, I find it weird to, like, know the answer and be like, do I... you know?
If we're taking way
Do
too
I?
long in the stream to do it, then we'll probably ask you for a hint.
Yeah.
But let's
just
see if
tell
Chris
me.
can figure it out.
For sure. It is just, like, a strange... I always, like, feel... You know when you're watching, like, a trivia show and you know the answer and the contestant's like,
Yeah.
It's like, ah!
You're like,
yeah, exactly.
It's right there. But glad to have you here just in case.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
When you were talking about watching, you watch a ton of videos, you get into this character's head. Does that mean that you can do a Vaas impression?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I'm just imagining, how there's this thing where sometimes, I don't know if y'all do this, but like sometimes if I'm around people who are speaking in an accent, I will I'll find myself slightly adopting that accent a little bit. It'll like creep into my speech pattern just as a way of like, I don't know, like.
Yeah, like communicating. That's like a normal
being
thing.
part of the vibe. Oh,
yeah.
here we go. Nice.
Aha!
So I'm just wondering if you you meet Michael Mando for the first time, and he accidentally he introduces himself and you introduce yourself accidentally in his same voice because you've been thinking in it for so long.
Tell me you would do that, Chris. Would you do that, Chris?
I'm not putting it above myself as something that would accidentally happen. It might.
Yeah, no. That'd be great, but unfortunately, not
That's
so
fine.
much.
That's okay. That's probably more professional and better all right. We got all the drugs. It's time to do some drugs.
Christ.
What? Oh,
Have you ever heard of the 12-step program? It's a really good program I hear,
Oh, nice. A little Vaas talking to Vaas.
Drugs remind you of your sister, don't they, huh?
Sounded
Set
bad
the
time.
whole world on fire, huh, big boy?
Get him.
Get off me, man! You can't help yourself. Some people take this stuff to escape their problems. You take it to run headlong towards it. Okay?
Yeah, his substance relationship not particularly healthy.
It's very interesting. In this scene, he says oh, they remind you of your sister. That was something I thought was really interesting. Citra's always giving Jason these hallucinogens as part of his journey into becoming a warrior. So I find it interesting that Vaas would have gone through that too. And then later, in 3, they talk about how he's drugs took him away from Citra or whatever. But to me, I find it a lot more interesting that not a lot more interesting. I find it interesting that it's the same thing, right? It's part of his same trauma with Citra. Kind of all stems back to that.
It does, yeah. And the thing I liked about this one in particular was there was actually he's showing himself. As much as he's talking down to himself, abusing himself a little bit, he's also showing him being tender with himself.
Yeah. And he I think in that scene he demands that he says that he loves him and he won't do it. And I find moments like that I feel a little. I'm such a not an insincere person, but I have a hard time writing really sincere things, especially from someone like Vaas, who's this guy is right. Funny and kind of off the wall. So having a sincere moment to me, it feels intimidating. But it was really nice for Michael to be no, this guy is sincere a lot. That's kind of the other side of it, is that it all comes from a place of rationality and really raw emotion. So getting that actually. It's not in my opinion, it's not cringe at all or whatever. It's
that makes sense. Yeah, raw emotion is definitely the way to describe it.
That's a good point. That he's not an insincere character.
No,
he's erratic.
not at all.
He's erratic, and he's a lot of different unstable or violent or whatever things. But he's not insincere. He's not fooling you. He's not being disingenuous.
Mm-hmm. His heart is really on his sleeve. It's just that his heart is fucked. So it's oh, okay. Wow.
Is this my own dead body? Yeah. Let's sure. Press
Sure
X
is.
to collect my own dead body.
Everybody smells the same when they die.
Oh, the crabs! I like
Crabs.
the
The
crabs. I
crabs.
really do like the crabs.
They're great.
You ever see those pictures of in places where it's it's just the crabs are popping off and they're just walking through town, or the crabs are walking through my patio this morning. I really like those.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
Slightly terrifying, but pretty cool to see.
Definitely. In some later mine levels, I think you're on mine level 1, but in the later mine levels, Jason and Citra spawn in the world, and I think some of my favorite content in these DLCs is if you can sneak up to Jason talking to a Rakyat. I love what ended up going in there. Writing Jason as this douchey California bro, like how Vaas sees him, was so much fun. Like, once I started doing that, I kind of had to convince a few people. I think I had him. I don't know if it's in the. I think it made it in. I had him saying YOLO really loud at one point, and everyone was like, "This is the worst." And it's like, yeah, he's the worst to Vaas. Like,
that's what we're trying to come across.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So like, yeah, the conversations where it's kind of like, mongoose.
Wait, do you see the mongoose?
Where?
Oh,
Where's
yeah.
the mongoose?
Okay.
There it is.
Yes. Yeah. I mean,
So the mongoose gives you a bunch of cash. Oh, and yeah, this is the temporary reduces movement noise after silence weapon kills.
Nice.
So you found a little Easter egg also. These are like, there's heads under there asking for you to free them.
Oh, are there?
You can't. Yeah, you can't, because, you know, why would he? But
Can you see the heads, or you just hear them?
you just hear them.
Got it.
Yeah.
Did you? This reminds me of that. There was like a 30-minute like short that like Michael Mando filmed live action as Vaas, where like
Yeah.
Christopher Mintz-Plasse, the actor who played McLovin famously, is like goes to the Rook Islands to film a nature documentary and gets like he's like kind of adjacent to Voss's shenanigans and then gets caught up, and Vaas is like, Christopher Mintz-Plasse, you're a movie star, like
Yeah. Yeah.
It's actually
So
pretty
great.
fun. I like that.
It's really fun.
But you were saying, okay, so here's a question.
Okay.
We've got a little bit of time left in the stream. Now, we've done one of the memories in Citra's Temple, and then we did a short mindfuck over here in Dr. Earnhardt's house. And I think those are two of the kind of more like splashier, more narrative, rich kind of moments. So I'm thinking we should head towards another one. Now, that could be Flaming Volcano, memory, or we could use this magical door here to warp across to do this memory, this mindfuck. Do you have a preference?
Well, I do not. The checking out is like a lot of visions, so that's cool. We could talk about like some of the stuff there. And then radio play is the volcano one. I mean, they both have cool stuff. So
okay, cool.
This one is more gameplay heavy, and it's obviously a lot harder. So it's up to you.
You know what? But it'll bring me closer to
for?
finishing my first extraction here. And as you can see, you can't quite see it here behind the pip folks, but it says mind level 1 out of 5. And Nikki's mentioned that a few times. It's like once you clear, once you escape the first time, then you can play on harder mind levels, which change the parameters, not just sort of enemy behavior, but as she was saying, of like Citra and Jason are appearing. There's some other complexities that come into play that I think are pretty neat, but I want to get to them because I've only been able to read about them in the menus, and I'm excited. So we're gonna go for it. We're gonna go for the flaming volcano.
Nice, great choice.
And then maybe on the way, do I spend money? Maybe I should do that.
Oh.
In case I
spend the money.
Lose some money. Let's go right
There's
back
some
to
discussion
combat.
in chat about co-op. Far Cry 6 co-op is 2 people, and there's co-op in this DLC, is that correct?
Yeah, there is.
That's also 2 people.
Yes, as far as I know.
There you go.
Oh, I just remembered, Nikki. You were talking before about writing Jason Brody as this absolute California douche, and there's a scene early on in the game where you come across a vision of Vaas talking to one of the rock or one of his people, one of the rock
Yeah, his pirates.
and
I think,
yeah, his pirates. That's right. And he, you hear Jason Brody and his friends skydiving in, and like, bro, like take a picture of me. This is sick. And then Vaas is like, you hear that, my friend? That is the sound of privilege. It's like the perfect like little switch of like, oh yeah, like that's your first player protagonist moment in Far Cry 3 that you meet is like, I'm bombing into this tropical island, this is amazing. But like at that first moment, this is what Vaas is thinking, like, here come the douches. Like we're gonna have some fun.
Exactly.
Like,
exactly.
That's such a good line. Okay, we're gonna buy some traits. So this is let's talk gameplay here for a sec. This mirror allows you to purchase permanent traits. So I've put a bunch of cash into health, greed. I like to our point earlier about the menus. Greed, you can't do shit if you're broke. So this allows you to keep some cash after you die. If it's going to keep fighting me, my mind could use a little wrath. This is about takedowns. So you know what? I actually don't... I want one of these more expensive ones. I want another gadget, socket. I want to increase my healing syringe capacity, so I'm just going to keep it rolling.
That's a really good one.
I'm just going to keep it rolling.
Gaze into the mirror.
Oh yeah, and this is your safe house where you can watch TV and relax in your wonderful obelisk of television.
Very soothing. ASMR.
You know,
some dead bodies, your greatest adversary.
Nothing says relax like dozens of televisions. Like most stressful situation. Too many TVs. All right, we're going there. We're going to the skull.
Nice.
Let's do it.
Oh wait, I think there's one thing here that I think I left for us to check out on the stream because there's like little collectibles you can find. I don't think I found this one yet.
We have a question from Raccoon in the chat. Will there be tigers and elephants in the Pagan DLC and wolves and bears in the Joseph DLC?
I don't know like what I'm supposed to like. You know what I mean? There's like I give anything away. But I feel like I want to be like wait and see. But I mean, there's no elephants. But every DLC has like really cool, unique animals that like attack you for sure. And nice. I think that our teams did like an amazing job doing like a very mind treatment on them to make them like extra scary and creepy.
Where is this little guy? Where's this little me? I can hear it. Can you hear the...
Oh yeah.
He's small.
Can you hear it?
Yeah, I heard him.
It's a little bobblehead collectible, and I'm not exactly sure where it is here. So I just want... Those are like another fun little thing. It's Vaas, like, but his voice is
okay, I'll tell you where it is. I'll tell you where it is. Go back. It's up in the rafters. It's right up there. So it's like you see him? You see him?
Oh.
Yeah.
And so you can shoot him to collect them.
There you go.
3 out of 10 collected, yeah. When I first heard that, I was like, what do they do? What's Nikki doing to me now? What is this weird stuff is happening this time?
Hey, that's all on voice designers who are very, very good, by the way. Marla Kishimoto was a voice designer who saved my life on this project 4 million billion times. Absolute wizard. Shout out to her.
Shout out to Marla. We're making our way up to this absolutely blasted volcano situation. Now, this...
It's another bobblehead up there, by the way.
I did get that one, yeah.
Oh, good.
Nice.
Let's get spray painting. No vandalism in my mind. The only vandal in my mind is me. Got some weird... Is there a face in
I've
there?
got another question for you, Nikki.
Sure there is.
Okay, so how do you approach a terrifying, unstable character like Vaas and make him fun to be around, even sympathetic?
That's a very good question. I think, like, again, just, he kind of already is that. Like, he is scary. Maybe he's not sympathetic, but he is, like, fun, and he's, like, funny. So I think for me, like, trying to tap into that, like, okay, this guy, like, tells jokes, and his kind of, like, pain and motivation does come from somewhere that is relatable. So in terms of, like, making him sympathetic, it's just, like, just surface why he's the way he is, you know? Like, I think that his backstory was already fleshed out in a way that was great, where it's like, oh, I just need to literally show how he felt about that and how those moments, like, affected him. And then in terms of, like, it being fun and like, sympathetic in the moment to moment, I think there's kind of this idea in writing where it's like, you don't actually have to sympathize with the character, you just have to understand them to make it feel sincere and, like, fun. So it's like, if you understand why Vaas is doing these things and why he is this way and why he responds this way, like, hopefully you'll find that sympathetic just because you understand it a little more. So just trying to, like, make it, you know, surface those things. That was my my intention, at least.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Just, like, kind of finding common ground with him as best as you can.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, good characters should...
Seeing things from his perspective, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, good characters should be, like, real people, at least a little.
Right.
So, or,
Yes.
you know, probably a lot. So, you know, just treating him like that. Like, treating him like a person who was broken instead of, like, a, you know, maniac and nothing else. Yeah.
Well,
Look at
here
all
we
that
are
blood
in the
water.
radio play memory.
Is your
This boat is having problems.
Sure is. Looks pretty stuck.
You do not live.
The Medusa.
You live only for yourself.
No, listen more carefully. You see, I'm setting the wrongs right.
Setting the wrongs right. That's what I think of when I think of Vaas.
That's what he believes.
Yeah. That's what he thinks. Yeah, I love this on this POI too. There's like or on this memory. There's like these like radios that are playing little moments. Like in Far Cry 3, he ransoms Jason's girlfriend. He's like making a video with her. So we wanted to show like more of those. Like that he's done this a lot. So there's like 4. I think there's 4. Yeah, and that was super fun. We actually recorded like the one side of it first, and then like Michael like did the other side, and he got to like really like play around with that and kind of go crazy, which is so fun.
Oh, I'll do it, but it's gonna turn me on.
Disable the radios. The radios that are playing the like sobs and cries of torture victims. Yeah, I'll disable those. No problem.
Torture is a strong word, huh?
Do not perceive me.
Oh.
Nice,
Another question from the chat for you, Nikki. If you get into characters' heads by familiarizing yourself with what they've said and done in the past, how do you take them in a new direction as they develop and change?
Wow, great question.
Thanks, Demolitions.
Yeah, thank you. That's a good question. I think like once you know a character, once you like, I think anyone can do this, right? Like when you watch something with a character you like, if they do something that you think is out of character, you can really call that out. You can really be like, oh, that didn't feel like this character to me that I really like. Like if Batman shot someone, it would be like, okay, come on, like you don't know the one thing, you know what I mean? So I think if you just kind of reverse engineer that, it's like once you know a character, you can like kind of, I think you should be able to be like, oh, this is what he would do, this is how he would respond, even if you're just identifying by what he wouldn't do. And then in terms of bringing it somewhere new, really what we did was just like look in like what we liked and what we wanted to see more of, and also I scoured Reddit like every if you have written a post about Far Cry 3, I have read it.
Nikki has seen it.
I have seen it. So we really we went hard on like looking at like what fans really liked and what they wanted more of, and what we thought was like cool and interesting, and questions that like I had, like, oh, I'm curious about what like what a interaction between Vaas and Citra looked like, because clearly they've had a ton of them, and that inherently will bring something new to it. And everyone on the team had like those moments of like things that they were interested in or thought of or wanted to see more of. And then yeah, we really just like writing is rewriting, so we like went iterated as much as we could on the narrative and what sort of thing we wanted to see and what fans wanted to see.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's so interesting playing this as someone who played a ton of Far Cry 3 back in the day, but has not played a ton. Has not played a ton lately. The times that like it's something that I recognize that like, oh, I kind of remember that. Oh, that sounds familiar. But there are other times where I'm like, oh gosh, I remember that very vividly. Like this is exactly this point in the game. It's one of those things
awesome.
where you like, yeah, it's
That's
like.
cool.
You revisit these moments and it's kind of surprising to find like where they were, where they've been indelible.
What are your some like big memorable ones?
Well, just the walking into this area. I think I've walked into this volcano a few times. I believe there are visions that appear. They might not have appeared this time because I already saw them or something. Anyways, those chairs. There's just like a chair against the backdrop, against with a light on it, and remembering that like, oh right. What you do is, like, as Jason Brody, you go and you find that your friends are, like, trapped and being tortured by Vaas and his friends. And you go into these places that are, like, little dungeons where it's set up. He's, like, filming this stuff. And just remembering that and being like, oh, right, yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's cool.
Okay, there's another one over here. Okay. You want to do a dramatic reading, Nikki? No, I'm just kidding.
Do I?
he has these like ideas. I feel like he's writing down some ideas to. This is one about a cruise ship, maybe.
Well, no. So Vaas, I think
style?
something really well. Vaas is like kind of a philosopher. He really likes philosophy. He mentions it a few times, and in a couple of these notes, he's kind of like saying. I mean, I'm sure you figure this out if you read it, but he's like inventing very famous philosophical solutions and saying like that he came up with them. So he does it a couple times. There's this one, and there's one in the prison.
I remember the prison one because I was streaming that with Yusuf, and he was like, "Chris, what? This is like Foucault? I don't know. I forget. Was that the name? And someone he said he quoted some philosopher. He's like, "This is the prison." Like, and he quoted, like, "Perception is like the greatest torture of all." I don't even know what the thing was. But yeah, okay, nice.
Yeah, I think like I really like that Vaas is like smart. Like he's smart. He's like a smart guy, and he has like his opinions aren't from nothing. Like even though they're off the wall and like not great, all of them, they're not just like he didn't just silently come up.
He's not just
like,
saying any old insane thing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
His musings reflect a kind of insightfulness about the human condition, or about about being lit on fire by
yeah, no, I think you're fully right. Like besides just like the human condition, he has a lot of opinions about like he talks about privilege a lot, and he talks about like Jason versus Vaas is like two worlds colliding, and I think kind of like Vaas's world is honestly a little more sympathetic in most way, in every way, maybe even like of this like outsider came to his island from privilege and just started taking over. So it's like hearing that story from that perspective, it's like really actually easy to be like, oh yeah, I could see why this guy is like a villain in this case, and I think too there's a scene in this in Checking Out, which we haven't gone to yet, but where Vaas like he does a definition of insanity speech, but it's a little different. It's like kind of updated, and it's a lot more about like class differences really, and like how Vaas sees that. And that was like again something that like Michael Mando brought a lot to. Like he had a really like strong like voice in that, and I thought it was like great, like such a cool evolution of it, or like more like a deeper explanation of why he thinks that.
Then yeah, the absolutely like most indelible, memorable quote from his sort of repeated theme that people often quote, and that inspired the title of the DLC.
Yeah, doing the same thing over and over again. Expecting things to change.
Yeah,
it's great. So
there's some fun plays on that when you die and you wake up. Not that I've ever died while playing this game, 'cause I'm such a pro gamer.
Never ever.
Yeah.
Okay. Now
it's definitely a popular Jason taunt also to remind him of that.
That Jason was a little more frightening to me because it had the lightning bolt over him. Those like shotgun guys. As soon as I saw it, I was like, oh no, that lightning bolt means it's just gonna try to run up in my face and blast me with a shotgun. I gotta get out of here. It's like that when you find out you have like this like sense memory, or these like reactions that are like quicker than you might make a conscious decision about because you played a game a bunch. Let's see. So I've got a pretty good slate of power-ups here, but what do we got here? Collect enemy drops from further away. I'm doing that. Let's sell that. Get a little extra K-ish. And what do we got here? Slightly improved standard round defense. Honestly, I could probably use some more defense.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Do I have the money to unlock my last?
Ooh.
Okay, I have the money to unlock the last perk slot.
I know.
But if I spend it here,
tempting.
that's like $3 grand I'm not spending on a permanent upgrade. Let's go for it.
Do you have anything you want to get rid of?
Do it.
Do I have any I want to get rid of? Well, not the 1-ups. You know what? I'm not using secondary weapons. Like, basically at all. So yeah, good call. I'm gonna replace that one. Okay.
Smart.
A little more defense. Feeling good.
Nice.
Find that last radio. Actually gonna use a certain Yeah. Here's a tip from your Uncle Chris. if you're fighting in a situation like this, wait to open some of these chests, because then you'll get a syringe. You might be able to replenish your syringe in a more important kind of time of the fight when you might want it. Whereas if you open it, I don't think that if you open it, the syringe, you'll take cash, but you won't get a syringe if you're full of syringes.
You've done as I asked.
I've done as you
Finish
asked.
off. And then I will.
Yep.
All right, we'll kill all your fucking warriors.
YOLO. Oh, he took a air ball.
Yeah, you're so tough.
Oh, got him that time. Feels like I'm getting shot. Anyone else feel like they're getting shot?
Yeah.
Anyone else feel like I'm getting shot? Alright, let me see who's around here. Switch back to Molotovs. Oh yeah! Oh, I got the angle on you. I got that elevated position. Come on, catch on fire again. More fire. You are bothering me. I want to waste my bullets on you right now. He's below.
If you kill him, you'll get more bullets, though.
It's called an investment in my future.
Yeah, exactly.
Average Gamer has a question about the Pagan Min and Joseph Seed DLCs. Now, obviously, those have been announced, but not too much has been sort of revealed in terms of the details, the content, and whatnot. So Nikki's gonna be a little limited in what she can say, but I think you can answer this one.
Okay.
Will they have the same kind of system, and I presume, Average Gamer, you mean like the roguelite system, the power-ups, the dying and retrying kind of thing?
I think this has been announced, so yeah, it is. It's the same roguelite system. It's the same die and retry thing, which I actually think is really cool because I know like with Vaas, it's really it's really like on the nose and like doing the same thing over and over again. But these are all villains, so I actually kind of love that they're all like living Vaas's definition of insanity. Like they all have something in them that's like not normal, you know. So for me, like I think that's a great like layer on top of the other two. Narratively, again, I'm like prescribing narrative to gameplay, but that's how I feel.
It's all intertwined. I mean, you can't really,
for sure.
Especially in an experience like this, you can't talk about one without, the other being involved.
Definitely. Right.
Oh, like the skulls turn blue. Everything's cool
That's
inside the
pretty
lava
cool.
cave, everybody. Let's go up here where nothing weird will happen. Give me the loot. Yes.
Is this your third piece?
It's not my third piece because I did die. Okay. I was playing since the first stream, which we did get the first piece. I didn't lost it.
That's all good. It would have been a stressful moment if that was the case. So, small mercy. No.
Yeah. You have to get that third piece. Ooh. Speaking of Joseph Seed.
Who's that?
Copycat motherfuckers.
This is why so many of these TVs don't work.
Gotta have a few extras around.
Hey, wake up. Shoot me. I want to see if I can dodge the bullet. Wake up.
He would. He very would. He would absolutely want to play that game.
This idea is fun.
Absolutely. Nice job.
Thank you.
Good work.
Thank you. Got 2 pieces of the silver dragon blade.
Good fucking times.
Good fucking times. Should have titled the stream that. Alright, let me get out of creepy cave. What? Why is it? Why are things? Okay, it's fine. Random explosions. I'm not phased. Alright, let's go find a nice spot.
So after writing for Vaas, Pagan, and Joseph, did you find one more challenging than the others?
Yeah. I think Vaas is the most challenging. But like, just because of what I said before, like he's so he's so complicated. Like he really, really is. And I think like getting his voice perfectly, there was like a missing piece that like Michael filled of like, this is close, but it's like a little, you know, when you come at it from like a narrative justification process, it can be really challenging to often like get exactly like what Vaas's thing is, which is that it feels very like specific and erratic in a way. So this was the hardest one to write for me. Also just like it was the first one that I worked on, so even though I was working on all three of them kind of at the same time, it was like a lot of like, okay, what exactly are we doing? Like how far are we gonna go? What's it gonna be like? So I found Vaas the most challenging. I found Pagan the one that came to me the most intuitively, I think. Mostly because I think Pagan's like really funny and he tells a lot of jokes, and he's like a very like I really get him in a way, and I really like him. So that one to me, like, I like them all, but I just like, there's something about Pagan that I just love. So that to me like came a lot easier. But yeah. Yeah, I hope that is a good answer. I don't know.
Yeah, well,
that makes sense. No, that makes complete sense.
Tricky with the Vaas one too, because you, like you said, you're also trying to like define kind of decisions you make in that one will also have repercussions throughout the rest of them. Like, is this going to be just a Vaas thing? Is it going to also recur in, you know, Pagan and the Father's one?
Yeah, and, for sure.
Oh, missed. Oh, double missed.
And also, like, you know, like, we really wanted to get it right. And with Vaas, like, there's just a lot of pressure. Like, these characters are really, really, like, beloved. And, like, from me as well. Like, it's, you know, like, at first very intimidating to be like, yeah, just, like, write something that, like, this character that you've idolized will say. And it's like, oh, I'll just do that? Okay, yeah, cool.
Sure.
Yeah. Definitely a fake it till you make it sort of thing. Like, I'm just writing fan fiction. No one will see this.
No one can see it.
Yeah.
I'll hide behind my fake name.
Exactly. Yeah. Until it starts becoming real, and then you're like, okay, I think I did it.
Yes.
Yeah.
It became real, and I'm having a great time with it. And we got to check out some really cool. I was really glad we had you on for this stream, because I knew there were going to be some cool, like, narrative kind of moments and some rich stuff when we went into those memories. So Nikki, thank you so much. This has been really awesome.
Thank you, Nikki.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you so much.
Definitely going to get in your email later when Pagan, Min, and the Father DLCs come on down the pipe. But folks, this is the Vaas Insanity DLC. It's part of the Season Pass for Far Cry 6. You can pick it up for a discount right now. Far Cry 6 is on sale at the Ubisoft store for up to 35% off, I think. Oh, yeah. Thanks, Chastity. Put the command in the chat. There's a link in chat. If not, just go to store.ub.com to check it out. And I can tell that a lot of you folks in the chat have been playing Far Cry 6. In fact, probably Natalia is saying, this is such a fascinating DLC to play. It had me writing whole paragraphs and talking amongst my friends about it for literal days. Vaas has always been such an interesting character to me, and seeing all this new content in 2021 feels unreal.
Oh, man. Thanks for that.
Natalia, you just made our day. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially
made
Nikki's
my
day.
year, probably, yeah.
We definitely screen grab those chats, folks. They give us life. But I think right now we are going to wrap it up. And so, Nikki, anything to say before we close it on down?
Yeah, just like thank you guys for your like nice words and questions. That literally like means a lot. And I really hope you're enjoying this, and that you can enjoy the Pagan and Joseph one, and see all the love that we put in, and you know, really tried to make something for fans. So I hope that shows.
Absolutely. And now, folks, Chastity, we are gonna do the thing that we like to do.
Oh yeah, we're sending you off into a raid, so please send some love to Unstable Sparky, who we will be raiding very shortly. If you are not familiar, we usually do raids at the end of our streams. It's a lot of fun. Send some love. Have a good weekend, everyone. Thank you, Nikki. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, chat.
Yeah. Have a great time,
bye.
y'all. Bye.
Bye.